All right. So here, I'll just do a quick intro. So for those of you that joined us, we appreciate that. We're really looking for your feedback. ASP is a product that's constantly under update, upgrade, new innovations, new ideas. Erwin is always working on it. And he's got quite a few, coming soon attractions, some of which I think he'll speak to today. But we want to go over some of the things that take it beyond rudimentary application. Put an RSI in there, run the ATM, see what your P&L looks like. It offers so much more than that. And I think that's often where people get stuck. They see an indicator based algo and think, okay, let me work with this, and they're leaving so much of its potential untapped. And that's, I think, what we're going to try and do in this series is start to open up people's eyes about really what you can do with it. And I think so many people that have made the investment in it or trialing it don't really understand how powerful it is. And so these webinars we hope start to really open people's eyes to that. So with that, Erwin, I'll turn it over to you. You've got this is kind of a good start with these trend line setups here in this Renko chart. So go ahead and take it from there, and I'll just be quiet and watch and learn with everyone else.
Okay. Actually, I'll start with the quant hour version first.
Okay.
Um, and while I'm talking, guys, if you have any questions, please ask them.
Got the
Just
chat going.
just unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yeah, we do
So
have the chat.
yeah, we do have the chat as well, so you can ask the questions there. But I won't be able to follow the chat and look at my screen at the same time.
Yeah, it's a little.
Anyhow, um, yeah, so what are we planning with ASP? Well, a couple of things. First of all, we are completely rewriting ASP, and the Quantile version is the first part of it to make it more reliable, faster, and better, and also, how do you say it, more future-proof for future features and extensions we want to add. So the version we're now seeing has been a complete rewrite under the hood. Now that won't really affect you guys in that you can now do more stuff or whatever, but it allows me, the developer, to add new features more easily and faster, and you guys will of course benefit from that later on. One of the features, for example, I've been working on is the optimization. If you have a pretty large algo or a large data set, so like 60, 90 or more days, it can take a while before the optimizer is finished. And I think we now at a point where it's like 5 to 10 times faster than it was. So that's already a huge benefit because then
Yay.
you can test much faster. And one of the reasons why it was a little bit slow was because of the trading rules, which you could set up inside your algo. But after giving it some thought, it was actually not making any sense to put this inside your algo. Um, so we moved the risk and order management now to the ATM, where you can see it over here, making it much easier for you guys to just click and select what you want instead of having to create those rules separately. And it also allows the optimizer to be much faster and also optimize those trading rules. So, for example, you can now just say, well, stop trading when your daily P&L is lower than 500, or stop trading when you've got 3 consecutive losers in a row, or do not enter a new trade if the previous trade was closed 5 bars ago, so you don't want to re-enter immediately after a trade was closed. Things
That's
like that.
huge.
Yeah, so this is just quick trading rules you can enable or disable, see how it affects your P&L, and the optimizer will also be able to optimize this. Where you can say, well, I want to optimize a specific rule, like the consecutive losers, or I want to optimize them all, so see what's the best combination, or only optimize my daily loss and daily profit levels. So yeah, much more flexibility in that area as well. Um, so yeah, that's about the trading rules we have been working on. Another thing we have been working on for a while now is the AI assistant. Um, that's um, yeah, as you know, AI is being added to like every product at the moment. So ours is not much different. And what it's going to do is going to help you with developing your strategies. If you look in the Discord and also on the questions we get from people directly, many people ask, how can I do this in ASP? Can I create this strategy in ASP? So they have the indicators, they have the rules, they know what they want, but they miss the knowledge on how to design it in ASP. And of course, the webinars, the documentation, it's all there. But what if you have an AI assistant helping you where you could just say, okay, just like in ChatGPT, you type in your prompt. You say, for example, well, I want to use the footprint indicator and I want to use the exhaustion print and combine it with an EMA crossover. And well, you can define any rule you want and tell it what you want, and the AI will build your algo for you. And not only that, it can build your algo or modify your algo. It can also run backtests for you and evaluate the backtest results. So it can look at the results, it can look at your equity curve and say, well, maybe we should do this, or maybe we should do that to reduce the drawdown or something like that, or to improve the win rate or stuff like this. So that's what we're working on. It's not ready yet, so I cannot fully demo it. I mean, I can ask it, like, okay, please create a new node where we go along when price is for the EMA 21, for example. You can present, and it's of course very simple example, and start thinking, and it will start executing this prompt. But like I said, it's still work in progress. It's not finished yet, so I'm not sure what it's going to, if it's ever even going to do anything. But the plan is to have this ready in somewhere in the early of the next year, and then of course when it's ready, you will.
Hey, Erwin, I do have a question coming in from Phil. He's saying, is this just sending the chat to OpenAI, or can we set
No, no,
our
no.
own API keys? Ideally, we could set our own API keys and we'll keep info private, plus also enable one to deal with their own billing. You might want to speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good question. At the moment, it's using our open AI keys, and of course, that would mean that you have to pay for it. So, but I'm not sure yet how the pricing will be. Either this is going to be a add-on you pay for example, monthly, and you can use your own API keys, or it's going to be an add-on where you pay monthly, and we are going to provide the API keys, etc. So you don't have to deal with it because, well, let's be honest. I think 99% of our user base have no idea what API keys are and
Exactly
how
right.
to get them.
Phil
So
is an advanced user, and he's saying, yeah, ideally, we'd have the option. He's
yeah,
an advanced user, but for most users, it'll be over their head. They don't even know what API is.
yeah. So I guess it would be maybe a good idea to have both options. where we provide API keys for the basic users, and if you are an advanced user, you can use their own, but it will still be a subscription-based
Yeah, there you go, Phil. Right. So
process.
you'll have the option.
Yeah, so I think that's what it's. So you can see it created the nodes, and then okay, it counted an error, but as I said, it's still not fully functional. But you get an idea of what we are working on.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
you can,
sexy.
yeah, you can see it's working and thinking, and yeah, like I said, I think it will be very powerful, not only for building algos, but also improving algos, where you have built something, and then you can use the AI to say, okay, well, how can we further improve it? What should I do, modify, change to get better backtest results? And I think
Can't
that's
wait.
also, yeah, that will be very interesting because for me, these numbers make sense, but I can imagine that some people might have no idea what a Sharpe ratio is or expected value, and frankly, they
Well,
shouldn't care
I mean, yeah,
either.
that's what free AI is for. What does Sharp ratio mean? I mean, come on, right? I mean, a little brain power would
Yeah,
help.
yeah, but still, uh, we see a lot of people focusing on win ratio,
Yeah.
um, and totally ignoring drawdown, for example.
Well, listen, let's speak to that, right? That's the first thing I look at in any algo. I'm looking at because let's be real, 99% of futures traders are now using prop firms. So the only thing that matters is the drawdown. That's the only thing that
Yeah,
matters. Can you survive whatever prop firm you're using? Can you survive the drawdown? And is it end of day or trailing, right? So again, for all of you prop traders, that's the only number you need to focus on.
yeah.
Seriously.
And of course, that's the funny you mentioned prop firms because that's ultimately is the end goal of the AI assistants, where you can say, okay, these are my prop firm rules. Like my max trading drawdown is this. I have to make that amount of money to pass my my prop firm account. Now with these rules and these risk management rules, make me an algo to pass it. That would be ideal if it could do that. Um, I'm not sure if the technology is that far enough, because the AI models we have now are mostly trained on text, images, things like that, but not on price data. So if we'll ever reach that point, wait, I'm not sure, but yeah, of course we will do our best to see if we can reach something like that. So that's the AI assistant. It will be coming somewhere next year. Um, the other thing we have been working on, and I think it's in beta now, so you can already use it, is the coloring of the nodes. So you can see the current state based on the how you say it bar you selected. So if you have a complex algo, like let me open another one, which may be a little bit more advanced. Okay, ready. Let me see. Um, so here, for example, you have a little bit more advanced algo with multiple ends and all kinds of signals. And yeah, what happens, of course, is in the end, you only have the decision: do you go long or do you go short? That's it. But it's sometimes hard to see why it's not going long or not going short. And if you click and on the chart now, we get this yellow line, and in Ninja Trader there will be arrows below and above the chart. But that allows you to look internally in what your strategy is doing for this specific bar. So if we now go back to the yeah to the algo, you can see all kind of colorings, and a green green means that okay, this condition for this bar gives you a long condition, and orange means both long and short, and blue means nothing. So now you can see, for example, okay, this end is not outputting anything because uh, this rule is not met, and this rule is met. So it allows you to quickly debug why your algo is doing what it's doing for a particular bar. And that way it also helps you in develop your own strategy. So it makes it really simple, especially with more complex algos. Um, Another thing we are looking at is the pricing of Algo Studio Pro. Currently, it's a one-time license, and we will be releasing subscription-based access for Algo Studio and all our other indicators soon. So for people who would like to have Algo Studio but find it too expensive, soon you will have the option to have a monthly based subscription. So you can play with it and use it for as long as you want, for as long as you have the subscription. And that way you don't have to pay the full amount.
Yeah, it's an
That's
easier way to get in, right? And it's beyond the trial, right? So you could go for
yeah,
30 days to
yeah,
determine, okay, can I make headway with this? Because I mean, the broad spectrum of what you can do with it, from something incredibly simple like a moving average crossover to kind of things that you're showing, it's hard to grasp that in 7 days. So the subscription model really is going to open up the opportunity to get in there and dig,
yeah.
because it's a deep well you're digging. There's so much there. And that's what we're trying to do here. People don't realize how much is there. They really don't.
Yeah, I think that's been our focus for lately. Make it easier and more understandable for beginners. And that's what the AI assistant will do, and that's what the coloring things will do. We also will be starting from today with a weekly webinar.
Yeah,
Uh, of,
every
of,
Tuesday
of of
or every Thursday. Yes, every Thursday.
every Thursday, 11 AST, we will do a webinar, which is basically free format. So we can build algos together. We can answer questions you might have. We can discuss new features. Yeah, basically anything you guys want to discuss, we can discuss in there. Of course, when we have news, we will also keep you up to date. But then every Thursday we'll have that webinar, which will hopefully also make the community a little bit more active, because I do get a lot of DMs of people asking me things and giving me ideas and asking questions. But like somebody said last week in the Discord itself, channels stay a little bit quiet. And I would like to have a more active community there. That doesn't mean you have to share your secrets, but it would be nice if we could be a little bit more active and share at least ideas or tips or something like that
Yeah,
in
and the
ASP.
webinars should spark that, right? That's why we're doing them, right? And it's direct feedback from the customer base,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
responding to our customers.
yeah. Well, that was of course the Quant Tower version. The Ninja Trader version will of course follow the Quant Tower. It will be we keep them in sync. So everything we add to Quant Tower is also going to add like to the Ninja Trader version. So don't worry, you will not be left behind. In fact, most of our users are still Ninja Traders, so it's still very important for us, and we will keep supporting it.
You want to show them this cool algo that you have running here?
Yeah, it's not really that difficult, but it's just something people ask me. How can you use your TDU auto trend line indicator with ASP? And for those of you who never saw the auto trend line indicator, it's just drawing trend lines automatically, detecting when the trend lines are broken, and also detecting when the trend lines are touched for multiple times, so when they're still valid. And it outputs signals, which you can use in your strategies and thus also in ASP. And that's what I simply did here. I simply took the trend line indicator, put it on my chart, and made an algo for it. And the thing with trend lines is I think Sam asked it. In my opinion, the best chart for it is Renko charts, because Renko charts filter out so much noise. And by doing that, you get beautiful swing points, and also that means beautiful trend lines. It also might mean you'll miss some smaller trend lines, but yeah, you'll get plenty of opportunities. As you can see, this is just this from today's session, and you can already see we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 trade moments. So plenty of trades. So that's why I chose the Renko chart. And if you look at Algo, it's really very simple, because the trend line indicator is basically doing all the hard work. I just added it to an end port, and the trend line indicator outputs a breakout signal, and that signal will well, go long or short when the trend line is broken. So if we, for example, look at this point, we can see this trend line coming over here from way back, and price breaks trend line, and there is the point where we potentially can go long. Same here, same there. So in this case, it's a breakout strategy, but you could also even use another output of the trend line indicator to create a continuation strategy when following strategy, if you prefer that. So we're simply using that that output. I added one more trade rule, that my consecutive losers should be less than 3. So I don't want to have more than 3 losers in a row. If I do, I stop trading for the day, and I go to come back the next day, which is just good risk management. And this is one of the rules which in NinjaTrader is still in your Algo, but like we saw in the Quantile version, and soon in the NinjaTrader version, it will be part of your ATM. So you can actually optimize it as well, and much easier configure it and enable and disable it than adding it manually to the Algo. So that's one of the trading rules. So what else did I do? This is the entry for the exit. I took about as simple as exit as I could think of. I just keep the trade open until I get a opposite bar. So if I'm long and I see a red bar, I exit the trade. And if I'm short and I see a green bar, I exit the trade. And you can, of course, put that under your exit templates. And there you can see that if the current bar is red, we exit the long trade. And if the current bar is green, we exit the short trade. So that's my exit rules. And then the ATM is just, well, no target, because that's determined by my exit rules. Initial stop loss of 2 ATR. And I only trade during regular trading hours, so session. And that's basically it. So, and as you can see, it gives you some nice equity curves. So yeah, just a small demo of how you could do that with the TDU out of trend line indicator.
You might just show them how you can check, because it's so fast. So right now you have it buying at the open of the next bar. If you
Yeah,
did
so
limit yeah, right, I mean that's
yeah,
another variable that's in there. I'm not sure people realize in
that's a
the
very good.
ATM.
No, that's a very good point of view, because that's I totally forgot. That's also a thing we added a couple of weeks ago. So by default, the Algo Studio will open the trade after the bar closes. There. So if we look at this green vertical line, that's our signal bar. And as soon as it closes, then at market we open in this case a long order. A new option in the ATM is, of course, we already had the limit order, where you could say, okay, instead of opening here at market, we open a limit order, and you can say, for example, that you want to open a limit order 1, 2, 3 ticks below entry price, so you get a better entry price. And you can now also say you want to open it within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars. So if
Look
price,
at the difference in the P&L though. It's interesting. Well, one, it's amazing how fast you can see that and test
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Right. And 1 bar, 2 bar,
So,
limit. I mean, those are real. That's really powerful that you can test it that fast and see the result.
so you can see it on this bar. It might be a little bit small, but it's opening 2 ticks higher. So it's getting in at a better price because price replaces 2 ticks. You get filled and then it goes short. And yeah, you get a better entry price, but it also means you will miss orders if price doesn't retrace. If price just takes off from your entry, you're not going to get
Yeah.
filled.
Well, that's the risk, right? That's what the point of doing the back test is to see
Yeah.
what kind of result, right?
The other one we now have, which is not really useful for Renko bars, but it's very useful for all other bars, is a break of the previous bar high low. So if you have an entry bar, in this case short, and if the next bar breaks the low, then we're going short. And why would you do that? Well, you get follow through. So you have a signal bar, in this case, a very signal bar, and the next bar continues to go lower. That's some extra confluence that momentum is indeed short, and you want to continue with that. Now, why is this not really useful for Renkos? Because as you can see, each Renko bar is higher
Has
or
to.
as
Yeah.
lower than the previous bar. So this is always true for Renko bars. But
Although it might keep you out of a trade, right? If it didn't get a new low.
yeah, but for for normal bars, time-based bars, volume-based bars, it's very useful. Yeah. So that's indeed another option we did at a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I think that's all I had to demo today. So I would more like to switch to more open mic, where you guys just tell me what you think. What do you have questions? What do you think about the ideas we just told you about where ASP is going to go? Do you have suggestions or feedback, or let us know. Who wants to go first? You can
Hello,
also,
I'll go first.
thank you.
Hi, Ewan, it's Mark. Big thank you to you guys for this wonderful program. A couple of things, if I may. Will you kindly share this algo that we're having a look at so we can work on it in the background?
Yeah, of course, I can share this Algo with you guys. I'll post it in the Algo Studio channel.
Yeah, put it in the Discord.
Thanks.
We'd put it in the free one, in the free Discord channel,
Yeah.
right? Or
Thanks very
free
much.
ISP, I should say.
Also great that we're going forward on a weekly basis to do these webinars. May I ask, is it possible we could delve a little bit into the optimization side of it? Because I mean, I've got my head around ASP, but I'm not technologically advanced like you lads are. And for me, I'm really struggling with optimization, how I can use it to enhance my ASP. It's too far beyond me. And I was wondering, hopefully, if we could delve into it somewhat just to give me better ideas how to use it.
Okay. Yeah, that might be a good
That's a
a,
webinar unto itself.
Yeah,
a point for the next to give a introduction
great. Thank you very much.
into the optimizer. Yeah, good point. Thank you.
Would you want to?
Anybody else who has?
So, Erwin, are you saying we're going to do that as a separate webinar rather than go into it right now?
Yeah, I think you will easily spend half an hour in the optimizer.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Okay. So,
and I
Mark,
think and
yeah,
I think it's also best to have some examples ready where
right.
that you can
Okay,
show.
yeah, because
Okay, we
we could
have
get
this
bogged down.
algo. It's
Yeah.
not only bogged down, but I'm not prepared at the moment, so we have to go to invent something, and I rather have.
Well, I would just add this, Mark. Most people they go to the ATM. Maybe can you just pop over there real quick so I can just show him a couple of things on your screen rather than me pop up mine because I don't have it open at the moment.
What should you want me to do?
Oh, just go to the ATM.
Okay.
pardon me, go to the optimizer. I think that's what he's talking about. It is a little, at first, right? Everybody thinks, oh, they just go to net profit, but there's so much more to it. Um, and so the downside of looking at, okay, let's try net profit, let's try daily net profit, let's try risk to drawdown, let's try Sharpe ratio, let's try K ratio. Those can be time consuming, right? If you're trying to go through all of those. Um, but Mark, just so for example, are you trading with prop accounts?
I am, yes.
Yeah, right. As are most, right? That's the thing. Net profit may be a place to start, but when you're, be sure that you understand a couple of things, and there are a few things here that took me a minute to follow. You want to be specific in the ATM as to whether or not you're trying to optimize for RTH or extend or all hours, right? And most people, well, I mean, if you're in Europe, you might do outside of RTH, right? You may want London hours, but most people are going to focus on RTH hours. So understand that if you click optimize close at end of session here, that it becomes an option as to whether or not it's going to close at end of session. That is something that someone Erwin explained to me a while ago that I didn't understand. I thought if I put optimize close of end of session, it was going to optimize to close at end of session, but it's not. What it's actually doing is giving it the option to use end of day or not. So in the ATM, if you click RTH hours only, then you want to leave close at end of session unchecked, right? So see there, right now that's going to be right. That's going to determine that it's going to show you RTH hours only. And then if you were to run something like net profit or risk to drawdown, you've got 7 or 8 different choices in there. The first thing I always do is immediately go to the report section and see if there's a particular chunks of time where it's not profitable. Often that will be the middle of the day. It's just common sense. Almost all of my algos run till 11:30 Europe's close, and then just do nothing until the last hour of the day. I mean, that's a very common. That's where the volatility is, right? So if you go over to reports, so for example, Erwin, you might on this algo go over to reports and show them that. I'm assuming people look at this. But if you pop over there, you may see, oh, so this one's particularly good, right? So you might look at that and say, okay, well, in the middle of the day, he's cut out from 12 to 1. That may just be coincidental that there's nothing there. Interesting point there. And then in the last hour of the day, it loses money. So if I were looking at this, I would probably clip it at 3 o'clock and just run it from open to close. I mean, the first, as you might suspect, right? The first half an hour of the day is the most profitable half hour of the day. But if I had a bunch of red there and it was inconsistent, I'm immediately changing the algo, right? It has to be it has to have consistent blocks of time, or you don't want to run it. It'll be too inconsistent. But this is likely he ran this off of net profit. You want to be sure to look at the others because often you'll get very different results. So a daily net profit also important to look at. And again, for prop traders, the only number that matters to you, and I'm emphasizing this because I trade this a lot, is the drawdown number, because you won't be able to beat the trailing drawdown if you don't have a good drawdown number. It doesn't matter how profitable it is over time if you're using a prop account. The only number that matters is drawdown. Can the algo sustain the trailing drawdown? Now, if you're doing something like Apex, it's even worse because it's a trailing drawdown. Where if you're using, oh God, there's some of them now that do go end of day, right? That's more accommodating to an algo-based approach here to make it end of day rather than trailing drawdown, because that can distort your numbers. So in that spirit, things that you might want to look for are Sharpe ratio, which is going to try and even out the equity curve, daily net profit, risk to drawdown. Those are things you want to optimize. So show him the drop down. Optimize for net profit is what he ran it for. He also did optimize trading hours, which if you're telling it, okay, I want from open to Europe's close and then the last hour of the day, you don't necessarily want it to optimize trading hours. I find it. See, all those different things you can return to drawdown, also a good one to optimize for. Daily net profit, other ones that I look, K ratio, right? These are all things that are going to smooth it out.
Yeah, but I think let's do that in a separate webinar where we
okay, right.
do a webinar.
I can do a webinar. I could talk for an hour just on that, right? Because
exactly, but we have a lot of questions.
There.
We have a lot of questions, so
yeah. Okay, I'll stop talking on that.
I think
we'll do that next week in detail.
Yeah, but that's a good topic. Just to how do you optimize? Where do you optimize for? What are good best practices? Let's do that next week. Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's a nice topic. Yeah. Okay, so let's go over the questions. I see many questions in the chat. So Keisha is asking for those who have purchased license already, will we still get updates or will we move to a subscription too? That's a good question. There will still be updates to the platform. But we are also looking into subscription-based add-ons. And then that will be add-ons you can buy or subscribe to. Ryan, what kind of candles are these? These are just regular medium Renko candles. In this case, I'm using our own TDU Renko suite. Yeah, for this, you can basically use any medium Renko bar you like. And to be honest, I just chose 13.2 because I had it in my drop-down list here. So I didn't do any investigation on if this is the best setting or Renko or whatever for this particular algo. Phil says, really excited for the weekly webinars. Thank you, Phil. We are excited too. Let's see. Ryan, so Algo is like Predator X on steroids with AI added. Exactly, you get it. Well, although the AI part is in work, in progress, it will be coming next year. But yeah, I think Algo Pro is like the Ferrari in terms of features, and Predator X is like a normal Lada or something car. Yeah, I think it's way more advanced than Predator X. Jasmine, is it better to run it on a VPS? It's not better. It's what you prefer. Algo Studio Pro is not very how to say it, doesn't require much resources from your graphic charts, so that's not a problem. But of course, the optimization is going to utilize any piece of CPU it can find to run as fast as possible. So and on average, the normal desktop PC or laptops are better spec'd than the average VPS. But of course, that's all generic. You could buy a very big VPS and you still have it running perfectly. It will run perfectly, but yeah, your speed, especially the optimizer, depends on your VPS, of course. Also, Jasmine would replace the sample templates. Yeah, I'm going to share that for you guys. The equity curve. Okay. Okay, somebody here is working with the price action indicator and saying the curve looks bad. Yeah, and that's because the price action indicator is of course, for the price action strategy from Mac and now also Thomas Wade. But it only implements the second entries, and a lot of very important part of that strategy is trend lines. So if you're going to automate the price action strategy, then you should use the indicator for it, but you need also to look at trend lines. So you should actually combine it with something like the auto trend line. Keisha said, is there a way to have the logic screen the default instead of the designer? Not at the moment, but I like the idea. So I'll see what I can do for you. And Bobar, Simon, you had something from Bulenox. I don't really understand that question. Can you explain, Simon, what that question from Bulenox was? Or
Yeah, it wasn't really a question. I was just referring to what Sam was talking about, the difference between end of day and trailing. I know there's companies like Bulanox. You can select both when you sign up to them. I don't think you can with Apex, but there's quite a lot of going that way now. So it costs a bit more to go end of day as opposed to trailing. But it was just, Bulanox are one of those companies that are definitely doing end of day rather than trailing.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And Phil suggests to use threads for different algo conversations. Yeah, I think we can do that. You can just turn it on, I think, or if it's not turned on, I will look into that. Okay, what else do we have? Do we have more questions? Don't see any more questions at the moment. Then I have a question for you guys, and you can answer either in the chat or via voice. What would you guys like to see in Algo Studio Pro, but also in the community? So what would you like to see? Maybe new features.
Can it read fair value gaps? That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, that's more an indicator you should be able to use in ASP then. Yeah. So can you guys give us something in the chat? What you guys think?
Oh, they get quiet now.
Yeah, they don't have any ideas. But that's okay. We can also discuss it next week if no.
Yeah, or if so you think of something, post it in the ASP channel.
More on-screen feedback as the trades are on. Can you elaborate on that, Jasmine? What you mean? Keisha says it's so fruitful. I love seeing the stats in the dev mode. Export trades to Excel. Okay, I think there's not much coming in at the moment. I'll keep the question in mind. Maybe we come back to it next week. Or post it in the Discord if something pops up later. Sam, do you have anything to add? Because I think I'm through my list.
No, but I think this is a good start, right? I mean, it will be helpful perhaps as we do more of these, we get some more feedback. So for example, the webinar series is a response to feedback. So if you tell us what you're looking for, what you want us to focus on, that can guide where we invest our time, in prepping for next week. So perhaps next week, given the Q&A we got this week, and my running off on it, we'll focus on the optimizer and how to best use it, because it's you got to be careful of over optimizing, right? It's a tool. You don't want to live and die by it, right? It should guide you in terms of making improvements and then looking for improvements, right? So you don't want to run an optimizer and go, oh, great, let's trade this. You want to go back through it and be sure that there aren't, trades that went too long that, in reality, you wouldn't sit through, but the optimizer, says, oh, it's a winning trade, but, it had, massive drawdown, but just didn't happen to get stopped out because of the optimization of where the stop placement was. So it's understand it's optimizing, right? That you want to look through this and go, is this something, would I sit through that trade, taking that much drawdown? You use it, as a tool, not as a be all end all solution.
Yeah.
That should be a good focus for next week. We'll focus on the optimizer.
And one last thing, Phil's saying, is it possible to have the stop be against structure? Well, there is something built in, of course. You can have ATR, which is more indeed price based, but you can also use the, maybe we should talk about this next week.
Yeah.
Put your stop below the previous swing high low, which is basically structure. And then you can even trill your stop under the previous swing high low. And so if you, for example, let's go to the quant hour because it's time based. So let's say you get in here and you go short, and then you get a pullback, and then the moment we go away again, your stop ends here, and then it comes back over here. Your stop is now here, and now there's a new pullback, so your stop becomes here, and then your stop becomes here, and then your stop becomes here, and then it becomes here, and then finally you get taken out over here. So by swinging, by trailing your stop underneath or above the swing highs and lows, you're already trailing a lot of the structure. Is it possible to manually scale in? No, it's not possible to. Actually, it is in the auto trader. It is there's a buy sell button to scale in manually. Sorry, I'm not mistaken. More indicators from TDU for Quant Tower, says Ben. Well, I'm glad you like Quant Tower as well. And it's definitely something we will probably do in 2026. But we have to check which indicators makes the most sense, because we have a lot of indicators, as you know, and we won't be able to do all of them at the same time. So we want to do the ones which, well, basically have the most amount. Okay. I think those were the questions for now. Then I think we'll wrap it up, Sam.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, we went 45 minutes. That's good, right? It's kind of long, right? So we can wrap it here and just stay tuned. We'll fire it up again next Thursday, and we'll start with the ATM and we'll take it from there.
Yeah,
but you know, as people get used to this, maybe they'll come in with questions prepared, right? And rather than, okay, let's see what they're talking about. So now that you get some insight into how we're going to approach this, maybe next week, you know, have a few questions ready, or thoughts or comments or requests or things you'd like to see.
Exactly. And in the meantime, if you have questions, you can always post them in the Discord. And
yeah, we do see those.
Let's try to make that a little bit more active as well. We will try to respond, and of course, we hope everybody joins in the community. And then, well, with that, I would say I hope you join again next week, where we then will have the optimizer webinar. And thank you for all your for being here, and I hope to see you back next week.
All right, guys.
Okay, thanks guys.
Okay, see you next week.